Chapter 5, Stakeholder Analysis and Communications Plan, focuses on methods for understanding and prioritizing various stakeholder demands and for building constructive relationships with stakeholders. It also outlines communication planning techniques along with meeting management tools. Previously, we discussed organizational issues such as strategic planning, project selection, and roles of key individuals. Then we moved on to details of how to initiate a project. Chapter 5 bridges initiating and planning. Notice how identifying stakeholders is a part of the initiating the project, where stakeholder management and communications management fall into the planning process. The agenda for today is to develop a project management plan, identify stakeholders, build relationships, stakeholder management plan, manage stakeholder engagement, plan communications management, virtual teams, and communications technologies. Develop the project management plan is the process of defining, preparing, and coordinating all subsidiary plans and integrating them into a comprehensive project management plan. Project management plan is the document that describes how the project will be executed, monitored, and controlled. This is accomplished through both stakeholder management as well as communication management. The stakeholder management is the process of developing appropriate management strategies to effectively engage stakeholders throughout the project lifecycle, based on the analysis of their needs, interests, and potential impact on the project's success. Where plan communications management is the process of developing an appropriate approach and plan for the project communications based on stakeholders' information, needs, and requirements and available organizational assets. Project managers need to first understand their stakeholders, build relationships with them, and then develop a communication management plan for dealing with them. On to identifying stakeholders. This is the process of identifying the people or groups of the organization who could impact or be impacted by a decision, activity, or outcome of the project. This is also analyzing and documenting relative information regarding their interests, involvement, interdependencies, influence, and potential impact on project success. Stakeholders include people that work on the project, people that provide people or resources for the project, or people that have their routines disrupted by the project. Another way to identify stakeholders is to determine whether they are internal to the organization or external to it. Stakeholder analysis is systematically gathering and analyzing quantitative and qualitative information to determine whose interests should be taken into account throughout the project. Prioritize the stakeholders through these categories: authority, power; concern, interest; active involvement, interest; ability to affect change, impact; need for immediate influence, urgency; appropriateness of their involvement, legitimacy. The matrix above shows this stakeholder identification and prioritization, rated on a simple scale of 1 to 3, with 3 representing the highest priority. The stakeholder with the highest total score are often considered to be key influencers for the project. Arthur Shelley came up with the zoo philosophy, which states that organizations are much like zoos. Many different types of animals all brought together in an unnatural environment and forced to interact peacefully for the benefit of the organization. This forced interaction can often cause stress and contention. The organizational zoo method is a way to point out different characteristics in a fun, creative way while focusing on how to handle different personality traits. For instance, there is the lion. They're an aggressive leader. They rule the pride through fear. They are always aggressive, controlling, powerful, self-interested, strong, and territorial. They are never cautious, dedicated, hardworking, persistent, shy, or tolerant. An eagle, on the other hand, is an inspirational leader. They know what they want and soar well above the rest. They are always action-oriented, confident, inspiring, strategic, visionary, and decisive. They are never emotional, pessimistic, political, self-interested, territorial, or two-faced. Documentation of the stakeholders is the primary output in the identifying stakeholders process. This is done through Stakeholder Register. The document includes identification, assessment, and classification of project stakeholders. This is useful when developing strategies that will either capitalize on support from stakeholders or mitigate their resistance. Building relationships both within the project core team and with other stakeholders is very important. This needs to be based on collaboration, communication, and trust. Analyzing stakeholder information helps the team understand them better and leads to effective relationship building. Project relationship building activities that are especially useful are share individual motives, encourage open communication, jointly establish agendas, use share learning, celebrate success, and use appropriate decision-making and problem-solving. Relationship building within the core team are aspects of acknowledge each other, encourage open communication, create an ownership in meetings, celebrate success, and appropriate decision-making. Who makes the project and how? When it comes to relationship building with the stakeholders, it's important because it helps create a desire and give support to the project. It also serves as a communication foundation for the project. Stakeholder management plan is a subsidiary plan that defines the process, procedure, and tools, as well as techniques to effectively engage stakeholders in project decisions and execution based on the analysis of their needs, interests, and potential impact. This can be accomplished through stakeholder engagement matrix, as seen here. The next step is to create the communication management plan that will guide the project communications. This needs to be a living document that adapts to change in the projects. Communication management. All projects are unique and have different stakeholders. Through communication, cooperation, coordination, there's project harmony, which equals success. Project communication plan considerations. There's 4 considerations that need to be taken into place. The purpose, which is direction setting, information seeking, and status reporting. Structures, exiting organizational forms. Methods, push methods, which are instant messaging, email, pull methods, interactive methods. And there's also timing, which deals with the project lifecycle, and routine time. The communications matrix talks about who, what, and when. Who does the project team need to learn from? Who does the project team need to share with? And who on the project team is responsible for communication? What does the team need to learn from this stakeholder? What does the stakeholder need to share with? What is the most effective communication method for the stakeholder to understand? And when do we need to know it? Knowledge management is a conclusion after shared information and compared to what is already known. Project meeting management. Meetings are an important project process. Since many important decisions are made at meetings and much time of expensive project personnel is invested into the meetings, it's important that they're productive. Certain types of meetings that occur in a project are to establish the project plans, to conduct the project activities, to verify progress, to make decisions, to accept deliverables, and also to close out the project. To improve your project meetings, there's such things as the PDCA model, where the P stands for plan, the D stands for do, the C stands for check, and the A stands for act. 2 templates that will help are the project meeting agenda template and the project meeting minutes template. When it comes to issue management, these are also things in the project management plan meetings. There's decisions and issues, and these are things that need to be documented. First, any decisions that were made should be documented. Second, any new issues that surfaced or existing issues that were resolved should be recorded. An issue log can be a useful tool for documentation. Also, action items. Tasks are agreed upon. Whom will perform by a specific date are logged and brought up at each meeting to hold team members accountable. Evaluation. The final item to be recorded on the project meeting minutes is an evaluation of both good points that the team would like to repeat, as well as poor points that the team would like to avoid in the future. Communications needs of a global and virtual project team. There are definitely virtual teams, cultural differences, countries that have certain preferences, and project preferences. It's important that we keep them all in mind and aid to their success. This can either help your project or deter your project if you're uneducated about the events. When it comes to communication technologies, they should work creatively, increase access to documentation, they should maintain confidentiality, and they should still keep vision control in the project managers. This joke is a good example of that it's important to keep in mind that technology should be used to make your project easier, not make it harder. So use technology that is easy for everybody, but still effective. Now I'd like to thank you so much for coming and listening today. And I want to remind you what we talked about. We talked about developing project management plan, identifying stakeholders, building relationship, stakeholder management plan, manage stakeholder engagement, plan communications management, virtual teams, along with communication technologies. We'd also like to give credit where credit is due, and that would be to the book, Contemporary Project Management, and also Arthur Shelley's Organizational Zoo.